First came Oumuamua, a mysterious object that defied all explanation. Now, another interstellar visitor has entered our solar system, 3I/Atlas. It's fast, strange, and unlike anything we've seen before. What is it, and where did it come from? We've seen this happen twice before. First, it was a strange cigar-shaped rock flying too fast to belong to us. Then, it was a comet spewing gas that shouldn't have been anywhere near our sun. Both came from outside our solar system, and both vanished before we could really figure them out. This time, though, we spotted it early. Just a few days ago, a telescope in Chile picked up something strange moving through the sky. Fast, bright, and on a path no ordinary object in our solar system takes. Astronomers ran the numbers, and the result was clear. It's not from around here. Another interstellar object, the third ever confirmed. But unlike the last two, this one's still close, still fresh, and we actually have time to study it. So what is this thing? Where did it come from? And why do these objects seem to keep showing up now? How it was spotted. The discovery happened quietly. July 1st, 2025. One of the Atlas survey telescopes, this one in Chile, picked up a faint moving dot in the sky. At first, it looked like just another comet. They logged these things constantly. Bright fuzzy patches with little tails, usually nothing special. But then the orbit came in. The math said it wasn't looping around the sun. It was coming in fast from deep space and heading right back out. The trajectory wasn't just unusual. It was hyperbolic. That's the astronomers' red flag for not from here. And that's when everything changed. They ran more simulations, pulled more data, cross-checked with older images from other telescopes. And sure enough, this object wasn't on any list, and it wasn't following any path that connects to our solar system. That's when they realized this wasn't just a comet. It was interstellar, the third one ever confirmed. But here's what's interesting. This didn't feel like a big event when it happened. There were no huge press releases or dramatic headlines. It was more like, hey, we've got something strange here, followed by a few astronomers getting quietly excited. You'd think the third ever interstellar object would be headline material, but maybe people are already used to the idea. Or maybe it's because this one hasn't done anything crazy yet. No weird shape like Oumuamua, no massive coma like Borisov, just a fast-moving visitor from out there. And that's what makes it easy to miss these things. They don't announce themselves. They don't flash or blink or wave. They show up, drift across the sky for a few nights. And if you're not looking at the right patch of space at exactly the right time, they're gone. Even now, we don't know exactly how long 3I Atlas has been drifting through our solar system. It was likely already inbound for months, maybe years, and no one noticed until a machine scanning the sky for anything that moves happened to catch it. That's what makes this moment different. Not because the object is doing anything wild, but because this time the machine caught it in time. We didn't miss the window, and that gives us a rare opportunity. You'd think a comet from another star system would dominate headlines everywhere. But when 3I Atlas showed up, the coverage felt strangely uneven. Some outlets called it a harmless icy visitor. Others described it like a doomsday rock. A few barely mentioned it at all. That's what made me curious. Why is the same event being reported in such different ways? So, I looked it up on Ground News, a site I use whenever I want to see how a story is being told across the media. I just typed in 3I Atlas, and right away it pulled up the full media breakdown. Over 300 headlines from different countries and political leanings. Some outlets said it was from the center of the galaxy. Others called it Manhattanized. A few said there's no threat to Earth. Same comet, but completely different headlines. And that's exactly what Ground News lets you see. You're not just reading a story, you're seeing how that story is being told differently depending on where you're looking. It shows you each outlet's political lean, ownership, and how reliable their reporting has been over time. And what's really useful is even when you're just browsing a news article online, Ground News pops up right on the page through their Chrome extension. With one click, you can compare how that same story is being framed across dozens or even hundreds of sources. It even has a feature called the blind spot, which highlights when a story is getting lots of attention on one side of the media and being practically ignored on the other. And that's exactly what happened with 3I Atlas. It was front page. Just how fast is this thing moving? News in some places, and barely a footnote in others. Ground News made that imbalance obvious. If you want the full picture, not just what your feed decides to show you, scan the QR code on the screen or go to ground.news/Fexel. You'll get 40% off their Vantage plan and full access to everything I just showed. The link's also in the description. It's moving at about 60 kilometers per second. That's roughly 216,000 kmh. Numbers like that don't mean much until you compare them to something. So here's the scale. Earth orbits the Sun at around 30 kilometers per second. That means this thing is moving twice as fast as our entire planet speeds through space. It's not just fast, it's leaving everything behind. That's why it's not staying. The Sun's gravity can't hold on to something going this fast. It's like trying to catch a baseball with a butterfly net. It just keeps flying. Even if we wanted to send a spacecraft after it, we'd have a serious problem. Catching up to something moving at 60 kilometers per second isn't like aiming a rocket and firing. First, you'd have to launch with almost absurd velocity, something far beyond what we can currently do. Or you'd have to use a series of gravity assists like what we tried to design with Project Lyra for Oumuamua. But that takes years of planning. And this object is already on its way out. Still, its speed tells us something important. Objects that move this fast don't get that way by accident. It means it was likely ejected from another star system. Maybe it passed close to a giant planet and got slingshot out. Maybe it was part of a forming solar system and things got chaotic. But the fact that it's moving this fast and on this kind of trajectory means it was thrown out, what it looks like, and why that's confusing, not drifted out. In a way, this object is a cast-off, a piece of some other world flung into the dark, now passing through ours without even slowing down. And yet, despite that speed, it's still bright enough to be seen with a telescope. Still close enough that we can study it, at least for a little while longer. The window won't stay open forever, but for now it is. You'd think by now we'd be good at recognizing space rocks, but interstellar ones, they still throw us off. 3E Atlas looks like a comet. It has a faint coma, a hazy cloud of gas and dust around its core. A few early images suggest it might even have a short tail. That's what made people think it was just another long-period comet at first. But then again, not everyone sees the same thing. Some observatories report little to no tail at all. Others say the coma is barely there. It's one of those cases where what you see depends on when you look and with what kind of instrument. But let's assume it is a comet. That alone makes it different from Oumuamua. Remember, Oumuamua didn't behave like any comet we've ever seen. No tail, no gas, just an object accelerating slightly without a clear explanation. It was either a very weird rock or a very shy comet. We never figured it out. At least it's doing comet-like things. The kind of outgassing you expect when sunlight heats up frozen material. Still, even that brings more questions than answers. For one, we don't know how big it actually is right now. It looks bright, but brightness in space doesn't equal size. A small, very reflective object can look just as bright as a big dark one. And if most of that glow is coming from the coma, the gas cloud around it, then the solid core or nucleus might be way smaller than we think. Some estimates say it could be 20 kilometers wide, but that's the high end. It could be a fraction of that. Then there's the composition. The coma gives us a few hints. If we detect things like carbon monoxide or cyanide, it would match what we see in comets from our own solar system. If we don't, that could suggest a totally different chemical recipe, one that formed under conditions we don't usually see here. That's what makes it confusing. On one hand, it looks like a regular comet. On the other, it's not from our solar system, and that alone makes it alien. What happens next, no matter how familiar the tail might look? So, we're in that weird in-between zone again. It might be a comet, it might not. It might be a blend of things we know and things we've never seen before. And since we don't get many chances to study something like this, every frame, every spectrum, every data point counts, because once it swings past the sun, it's gone for good. We've seen this happen twice before. First, it was a strange cigar-shaped rock flying too fast to belong to us. Then, it was a comet spewing gas that shouldn't have been anywhere near our sun. Both came from outside our solar system, and both vanished before we could really figure them out. This time, though, we spotted it early. Just a few days ago, a telescope in Chile picked up something strange moving through the sky. Fast, bright, and on a path no ordinary object in our solar system takes. Astronomers ran the numbers, and the result was clear. It's not from around here. Another interstellar object, the third ever confirmed. But unlike the last two, this one's still close, still fresh, and we actually have time to study it. So what is this thing? Where did it come from? And why do these objects seem to keep showing up now? The answers may lie in the revolution of sky surveys and machine intelligence. As our detection tools get sharper and more persistent, we're uncovering cosmic phenomena that used to slip by unnoticed. It's not necessarily that interstellar objects are becoming more frequent. It's that we're now capable of seeing what was always passing through. These moments, once impossible to grasp, now offer windows into alien environments and distant planetary systems. How it was spotted. The discovery happened quietly. July 1st, 2025. Hit that subscribe button, share your thoughts below, and let's keep exploring the together. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next.